Hi, my name's Jim King. I'm with a little ministry called Kingdom Words. I'm also the interim pastor at the First Baptist Church in Laurelton, and in a video I made recently, it was about a part of my sermon that I preached last Sunday at the church where I serve. The video was on the roots of religion, and if you happen to have seen it or remember, I spoke about how in Deuteronomy it says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one." That's one of the roots of religion. And I spoke about Joshua, "Choose this day whom you will serve." That's about one of the roots of religion. And in Isaiah, where he was in the temple and he recognized his need, his sin, that's one of the roots of religion. And in John's Gospel, the 14th chapter, Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life." That's one of the roots of religion. And in the book of Revelation, Jesus is portrayed as standing at the door and saying, "Open the door, and if you do, I'll come in and fellowship with you." That's one of the roots of religion. Roots are very, very important, to be sure. If you've got an evergreen tree, you got to have roots. And if you don't have good roots, when dry season comes, it's going to fold. It's going to be dry. It's not going to work. It's going to be dead. When roots are very, very important. But in this video, I want to talk about the fruits of religion. And I got a bowl of fruit here. I got bananas and apples and lemons and all the rest, as to kind of indicate to you that fruits of religion. I'm not talking about bananas and apples and lemon, but I am talking about the fruits of religion. That's just one way of getting your attention. The Apostle Paul, in the book, in his letter to the Galatians, Galatia was a church in what today is central Turkey. And in Paul's letter to the Galatians, the 5th chapter, he talks about the 9 fruits of religion. As important as the roots are, they're all important, these roots. But the fruits are also important, are they not? The fruits that are such flower to them, such color, such importance, such vitality. It's the good deeds, it's our behavior, it's the way we live, it's our lifestyle, it's ourselves. The fruit of the roots, the fruit is also important. And Paul, in this Galatian letter, in the 5th chapter, speaks about 9 fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, and faithfulness. Those are the fruits of the Spirit, the fruits of genuine religion, if I may put it that way. The first fruit, then, is love. For me, I don't want to make it real complicated. I'm going to say that love is simply showing respect to people and being nice to them and showing them some generosity. So the issue is, do we have the fruit of the Spirit in our relationship with others? Do we have love? It's one of the fruits of the Spirit. And the second fruit is joy. And again, not to make it super complicated, but simply say that joy is something about happiness and contentment. It's something related to God. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Return to me the joy of your salvation, wrote the psalmist. Joy is something a little bit elusive, but it's not just happiness. It's something deep and intangible. It's a wonderful thing to have. Love, joy, and peace. For me, peace is also important. Augustine said, he was a 5th century theologian, "We shall have no rest until we rest in you, God." We'll have no rest. And I like to rephrase that. We'll have no peace until we have peace with Jesus. And Jesus said, "I give you my peace. Not as the world gives peace, but I give you peace." I like to think, however, that in addition to God giving us his peace, there's something on our part that's important. I remember seeing a play a couple times. It's a modern play by a French existentialist. The name of the play is Waiting for Godot. And it's a story of a couple people, men, who sat on the side of the road. And frankly, I didn't understand the play. Very deep, and I'm sure it's more powerful than what I can understand. But as I saw them, they're just sitting there waiting for Godot, waiting for God, waiting for the Spirit to descend, just waiting, passive, not doing anything. For me, sometimes in addition to the peace which God gives us, he gives us the peace based on our striving. We don't get peace simply because we strive, but it's wonderful if we are active in our Christian life, in our discipleship. And I think peace comes in the striving and at the end of our striving. In any case, I want to speak to you about the fruits of the Spirit, not the bananas and the apples and the oranges and the lemons, but the fruits of the Spirit that Paul talked about: love, joy, peace, patience. Patience is so, I used to think that patience was for wimps. Patience was somebody who was for people who couldn't do anything. I don't believe that anymore. Now I believe that patience is really quite a great virtue. I'd love to have, for instance, the patience of Job. Job, it's a long book in the Bible, I think 42 chapters, and not until the 38th chapter does Paul somehow understand that his patience with God is paying off. Up to that time, he's arguing, he's contentious, he's having difficulty, and then he understands that God is God, and he's then patient thereafter, accepting God's presence in our lives. I commend to you patience. It's what a great thing to have as we try to work out our relationship with the Lord and our relationship with each other. A kind word turns away wrath, says the Bible. A kind word that is based probably in patience. Another of the virtues is kindness, or one of the fruits of the Spirit. Kindness. I remember a story of Jesus. It's a story of the man who came down from Jerusalem to Jericho. He fell among thieves, and there were a couple of religious people who went by, the Pharisee or the scribe or somebody from the temple, and then a Samaritan came by. And the Samaritan was not, he was an outsider. He was an anathema to most Jews at that time. The Samaritan was not a nice person by their standard, but he was a person who was kind. And when he saw the person who had been beaten up and left for dead, the Good Samaritan stopped and helped him to be healed and took him to a hospital, so to speak. I commend to you kindness. Jesus said a person who offers a cup of cold water, he will get his reward. It's a wonderful thing.